All right, welcome to the relationship show. This woman writes this post, should I tell my boyfriend? I had a very unpleasant experience with my boyfriend's best friend at a party. What led to this was probably the fact he tried some drugs for the first time. I was sleeping already when he climbed on me and pulled my underwear down. Yeah, I mean, I had experience with this as far as like another guy trying to get this girl to do drugs with him. Is that one of my friends' one of my friends' birthday parties. It was actually just up in the mountains, but there's just random guy who was like 30 years old came to the party. He might have been a little bit younger, but we were like 16, and he was trying to get all these girls to do like these hard drugs with him, and I was like, "Hey, knock that off. I mean, don't be doing that here." And I told him 3 times, and then I saw him later at the party and he had the drugs out and he was like showing them to this girl. And I said, I told you 3 times to not do that here. I ended up punching the guy and beating him up pretty bad. But I mean, the point, I mean, it's like you don't really want to be in environments like that. And then people like that, I'm not saying you should beat up people and use violence as a way to solve problems, but it's like you need to separate yourself from those situations and probably just not be in those environments at all, or at least get somebody to just get something like that person to leave the situation or kick the person out so it's not in your environment. Because whenever you get drugs or alcohol involved, it just complicates things and people act in ways that aren't always congruent with how they'd act just normally. And you get some situations like, well, what she's experiencing right here is where this guy's basically trying to force himself on her. I'll continue on here. She says, I woke up, so it was when she was sleeping, he was trying to pull her underwear down. I woke up, but I wasn't able to do anything as he was holding me down firmly. I mean, this is just a rape situation, and yeah. And I was so scared and confused, I didn't even scream or anything like that. The fact that it's your boyfriend's best friend was too shocking. When he got off me, I rolled to the side and started crying just to get a slap from him and threats. In the morning, he grabbed my neck and told me to keep my mouth shut about it. Ooh, that's scary. I mean, it's a scary situation for you because it's like, well, man, well, not only is it kind of like a forceful, close to kind of rapey situation. So you've got that fear, but also fear whether you say something to someone, what do you do in a situation like this? She says, I'm in a big emotional and physical pain, and I really want to say everything to my boyfriend as I feel so alone and depressed, but they have been friends for over 20 years. I have no evidence. I didn't call for help that night, and no way he'll believe me about it, or especially that he took drugs. What should I do? I don't think you can just keep living in that with that just kind of stored up in you, and I think you need to tell him. Just, hey, what went down? And from the guy's perspective, I mean, if he's known the friend for 20 years, he's probably experienced some other things and some other patterns and noticed some things of this similar behavior, whether it be doing drugs or forceful things with women. And so he probably already knows him in that regard. And so knows that he is capable of doing, some things like this. And so from your perspective, saying that he won't ever believe you, I think that he actually might, because he probably knows the person very well. From his situation, he really needs to handle this in a really calm and composed way, not just blow up on either side. because I don't know what kind of drugs he was on or whatever was going on, but he really crossed the line with trying to pull her underwear down. Because if he can, I mean, ideally he can diffuse this situation without getting like losing his temper, being stern, completely stern, but not really losing his temper either on the friend or on her. Because if he does that, loses his temper, loses his emotional cool, it further really will make her feel unsafe. And really, that's what you have to navigate in this situation, is making her feel safe. Not always easy to do, and it's easier said than done. But just hiding it will cause negative effects as well. From your perspective, I would tell him what happened, what went down, and see if he can, handle this in really a mature way. Probably through words. So, I mean, yeah, you're going to have to tell him. And really urge him to kind of, if you don't want to really blow this situation into something huge, kind of instruct or at least kind of urge him into just handling it into a more calm and mature way. But I'd say you still have to tell him.